Is Jackson coming or not coming?
He's sleeping right now. The star of the show is sleeping.
The star of the show is asleep. Basically, the show is for new moms and moms to new to the crunchy scale, which what we mean by that is just the having more of a wellness lifestyle and having that approach that we have at the Wellness Way. I have 3 kids, 10. I'm distracted by Jackson. He might want to go around that way. I have 3 kids, a 10, 5, and 2-year-old. And so we'll talk about that a little bit, but why don't you introduce yourself to everyone first?
Hello, I am Bri, and this is baby Jackson. He is 4 months old last week. We started doing this show to highlight some of us, as we like to use the term crunchy, but organic, natural lifestyles, why we're here, why we're not. 12 years ago, I had a very non-natural C-section. See if I snuck?
No.
And what I've learned along the way and how all my kids are different. So
yeah, so
today
really
we're here to talk a little bit about a different.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he'll go back to sleep. So yeah, we're talking about VOCs,
Yes.
which I had never heard that term or the abbreviation of what it is. Bri mentioned it last week when we talked about laundry detergents and things like that, and we'll get into some of those ingredient details later. But as we were preparing for the show, I was just thinking, sorry, I'm swaying, like I think it's natural. It just happens when you're holding a baby. And when we were thinking about doing this show and talking about it on my way in this morning, I was actually thinking about what VOCs are as far as like toxins and off gases in the environment and things like that. And we moved into our home 1 week before my second daughter was born. And before moving in, we got all new carpet and painted the entire house, every single room of the house. We just did fresh paint. It was a short sale, and it was just ugly. So we were like, let's just start fresh with a brand new baby. And it was a planned C-section also. So planned C-section, full immunizations, and then brought the baby home, brought Zoe home into an environment with all new carpet, padding, all new paint on the walls. And, after knowing what I know now, and
how old is Zoe
just learning,
now?
well, so now she's 5.
So 5. So
Yeah.
you've been here for a year now.
For a year.
Started researching.
Really just when I started.
Yeah.
Like I was not involved or interested in anything. I just didn't know about it.
Yep.
So once I started, it was more of like, okay, now I'm hearing this stuff, and you can't really ignore it once you know it. And then you start doing your research and kind of just putting, and there are a lot of stories that I have of putting these pieces together of just this different way of thinking and not realizing like what you're doing when you're doing it. But hindsight is 20/20, you know, and now that you know some of these VOCs that were in the environment when Zoe was born, it just makes me think like her immune system was shot like from the beginning, and ear infections and strep, and she was very sick like around 18 months, and we had no idea what it was. And it just makes me think, maybe it's all of that, and just not knowing what it is that was affecting her. But I think even still, we feel like there are some things that, her immune system's just not very strong.
And what makes you think her immune system's, what you were telling me in my office, you felt like she was your sicker kid.
Yeah, she is. And I don't really know what it is, but we, got her food allergies tested before any of the other kids, just because something just seems off with her. And not like, that sounds really mean, like as a mom, but you just know, the one that's tired all the time, the one that, overreacts to everything, or gets little rashes, or has tummy aches, or
like my Bella.
Yeah, just overall always the sick one, always a cold or a stuffy nose, or eats something and then needs to go lay down on the couch and things like that. And you just know it's not normal. And it makes me think, there's something more going on there, that now we've eliminated foods and seen a lot of improvement, but I feel like there's still more testing that we need to do, like a stool test or something, just to see what else there is that's going on.
Yeah,
but
I think it brings a little different light. This is a little bit different show than we've done before. So one of my main goals about this show is to kind of reach out to other moms and I don't have a special mom degree. I didn't go to the school of, I went to the school of life, but
Yeah,
I didn't
right.
go to the school of,
Right.
if he's getting cranky, we can have tab.
He's okay for now.
Are you sleeping, little
We
guy?
were sleeping and woke him
It's
up.
a show. You might want to wake up. So, just letting moms know that there's more information out there. So, a lot of times people ask me, why do you do what you do? Why do you use this laundry soap? Why do you use this window cleaner? Why do you use this?
Right.
And I go, and they want all these details and scientific facts. But I've been in it for so long, and I believe it so much that I don't always have that at the drop of my hands.
Right.
So when I started researching, actually last week, Sunday or Monday for this week's show, I just went to Google and started pulling things up, and I went, the amount of stuff that is out there now that wasn't even when Bella was little is crazy. So I have a few different things, but you can go and research anything. You know, Doc always used to say, don't take my word for it. Go to WebMD. Don't take my word for it.
And that's the beautiful thing about the internet, that he's always saying, like, look it up. I mean, from
So-
reputable, like from good websites, of course, which I was going to mention too, that if you're looking up some of this stuff, like EWG is a good website. What's the other one?
It's
Think
hard.
Dirty has
Think
an app.
Dirty, which are all paid from different companies. I mean, so you never
got it.
know,
Yeah.
you know. And so I just go, in my heart, as a mom,
Yeah.
if I have the choice between, you know, we're talking about laundry soap. If I have the choice between this laundry soap, which has 50 ingredients, and this one that has 5, why not just take the safer road and go with the one that has 5? But I was looking up VOCs. So taking it back a step, last week we touched on teething. And one of the things we said was to do a frozen washcloth. And I was wanted to make sure people knew I didn't want to just go and get a washcloth out of a cupboard that was, you know, the smell, the yummy smells that you smell. Now they make my nose run.
Right.
That signifies VOC. So a VOC is a volatile organic compound. And I have the specific, they're organic chemicals, not organic in a good
Not
way.
organic,
No,
yes,
organic
not
in the scientific
organic.
way. Chemicals that have a high vapor pressure at ordinary room temperature. So
Okay.
they are going to be found in formaldehyde, chlorophyll, paints, gas.
So a VOC is like an umbrella definition for a lot of different chemicals that
lot of
are
different chemicals.
hazardous.
So
Like, are they
yes,
all? They're all
typically hazardous. So
but they're legal.
yeah, and I didn't delve into all that.
Right.
I didn't get into all that.
Yeah.
But speaking of legality, so let me see here. What was the part that the U.S.
Yeah, with the-
government has taken a largely innocent until proven guilty approach to the use of chemicals in commerce, and the Environmental Protection Act (EPA) requires testing on only a small portion of all the chemicals used. Since the Toxic Substance Control Act was passed in 1976. So the testing is outdated, but I found this really interesting. The term fragrance alone may refer to a combination of several hundred laundry chemicals, including many that are hazardous.
Wow.
So they're often derived from petrochemicals that contain synthetic fragrances, even advertised as fragrance-free.
So the other thing that's scary about that, when it says several hundred or whatever like that, they're innocent until proven guilty. Some of these side effects, like we talked about once before, they're not immediate. They're long lasting.
They're not, I don't have that one on
You know,
me,
I mean,
but
Zoe's 5, and it's something that makes me think, gosh, maybe what happened when she was a newborn is a long-lasting
my
effect.
favorite saying, and I've used it before. Well, we used this and I was fine. My
You
grandparents
don't know
used
that,
this and I
though.
was
Yeah,
fine.
you don't know you're fine.
Sure. We used Tide. I mean, growing up, that's all we
Yep,
used. It was
that's
the
true.
red jar with the
Yep,
blue cap.
exactly.
I can just picture it, right?
Me too. I can smell it, to be honest.
Flip
Like, I
between
can
mom's
smell
house
it.
had Tide, dad's house I think had Era, and I can smell it. I can think of it right now. And who knows? This is a whole nother show topic, but I had ADHD as a child. I started Ritalin in 4th grade. So who knows? I don't know.
You don't
But
know.
I know one thing that they push in all the baby books, they're getting better at it now, but is something called Dreft.
Yes, you always, I mean, if if you're going to have a baby, I remember
You have
thinking
to.
like,
you cannot
oh my
use
gosh,
regular
I
detergent.
need to go buy Dreft so
You have
that
to
I can
buy
have my baby.
I thought when I was 17
crazy.
and had Bella, I went out and I bought gallons of Dreft. Nothing touched
Oh my
that
goodness.
baby
If it wasn't
wasn't first
in
washed in
Dreft.
Dreft. And I think about it now and I think of the smell
Oh,
of
man.
Dreft now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy cow, it makes me shudder.
Yeah,
So we
it
pulled
does.
it up on the EWG
Right.
website. I mean, a big fat F.
A big
Not
fat
a C,
red F.
Not a D. Yeah,
You look at it
didn't print out
online
color
and
here, but
for some reason it didn't print right. But when you look at it online on the EWG website and look up Dreft, it's a big red F.
yeah, so skin irritation, endocrine, reproductive effects,
Endocrine
developmental,
is your
hormone
system. Yep.
allergies, damage. So we fill our kids with VOCs.
Yeah.
We
Oof.
spray all our foods with glyphosates and
Glyphosate,
all
yeah.
these things. We live on fast food. We live in a world where they're spraying, the chemtrails. They're
Yeah.
spraying the air. You can't avoid it, right? And
Which is
then
exactly why this is
we
that much more
have
important.
these sweet, newly married, healthy individuals dealing with infertility. I mean, infertility in our country right now is rampant.
Right.
And so right there, endocrine, how do we know that it wasn't just
Oh my
your baby's
goodness.
toxic bucket was full and spilled
Right.
over and are dealing with hormone issues? Prepubescent girls. So
That's another
periods
thing.
in
That's right.
third grade. How do you teach a 8-year-old? We've seen patients here as young as, wow, when I was dealing with patients, now I'm more on the business side, but 6, 7, 8 years old dealing with growing boobs. And
Oh, no.
how do you teach a 7-year-old what a pad is or how to change it
Yeah.
or younger?
That's too young to be experiencing that.
Yeah,
And it could all
so-
stem, and now like we've talked about, it's probably not one thing.
It's not just
one
because
thing.
you put Dreft on
Yeah,
your child.
we're not going to say
I'm
that
here
don't use Dreft, it's the one thing that's doing this, but it's a
sharing. My goal for the show today was not to get super scientific. It was to show that the stuff is out there and we were all there. It doesn't make me better than you or you better than me or
Right.
anybody better than anybody else, but it's there and it has to be researched. So
right.
we touched on laundry soap today. We touched on different things, but I wanted to bring some props. You know me, I love props. I think they're fun for the screen. We had a ton of them last week for the teething
Jax is
video.
going to be our prop for today.
Yeah, he's our prop for today. What do you use?
Right.
Okay, well, so
Right.
I
So
use,
what do you use for laundry detergent? What do you use for, and which we didn't touch on yet, but baby soap. You know, Johnson & Johnson or all of these different things. All of those products are they on EWG as well?
I would assume so.
Yeah, and Think Dirty apps
I
and
don't
things
use
like
much.
that. Yeah. So what do you use? You didn't bring
So-
our props.
Yeah, I didn't bring props because in everything there was going to be something.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah.
For example, I use, now that I have boys, when it was just me and Bella, I didn't need Stain Fighter as much. When she was really little,
Yeah,
I
no
used
grass
Shout
stains.
because that's what everybody used, right?
Right.
So now that we have the boys, I order the Honest Company stain remover. I think it works great. I think it's 10 times better than Shout. I'm sure there's something in it. Somebody can go look it up right now. I'm sure there's something in it that ingredient on Think Dirty or EWG is going to raise high concerns. But I'm
Right.
using it minimally. I'm using it when I have to. So I didn't bring a lot of props because there is no perfect thing out there. There is some really good soaps out there. I've seen some different brands that I know that I love. I used to love Shea Moisture brand. They were recently bought out last year.
Oh,
Their
so
products
then
are
that's another
switching.
thing. Like, pay attention. If something
can't
is
keep
bought
up.
out, or if Burt's Bee is bought out, or Honest Company or
Burt's
something,
Bees, when
like
Bella,
look at
when
those
we were
ingredients
transitioning,
when they change.
was great. Burt's Bees got bought out by Clorox 7, 8 years ago or something like that.
Clorox?
Yes.
Really?
I'm pretty sure Clorox is the one that bought Burt's Bees.
Wow.
So Kellogg's bought Cascadian Farms Organics, more food stuff. Who just bought? General
attention.
Mills just bought Annie's.
Oh, I saw that.
I think.
Right. So now pay attention to the labels because
Yeah.
things will
So you
start
find
changing.
a really good kitchen. Primal Kitchen. Somebody just bought them out.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna say next? Some people go, "Are you kidding me?" I don't use anything. Like
Yeah.
on Jackson,
And he's 4 months.
he's 4 months, and He didn't have his first official bath till he was probably 5 days old.
And this is a
6
different
days
show,
old.
but why? Like, why
Yep,
didn't you?
because the immune system, in a nutshell, the immune system lives on the skin. So that and the amount of toxins in soaps and baby products and water,
Can't avoid
everything.
it. Right.
So he doesn't get a bath that often.
Don't tell anyone.
Right? So
he doesn't
does.
smell. He doesn't smell.
No.
But he has that
now,
baby scent.
Again, it's all baby steps because when I had Bella, she was my formula baby, right? She started on Similac and then we moved into Nestle Good Start. And she had these chins. She had like tons of
like
chins.
multiple chins.
Yes, multiple
I'm not going to show you
chins.
mine.
And there was folds. She had to have a bath. That kid stunk. Like,
oh, sure, because you've got to get in the
formula,
crease.
It stinks.
It does.
And it's yucky and it gets in the chin.
so
So
funny.
again, now with Jackson, he doesn't have any of that. I don't use baby lotions.
Yeah.
He's young enough. I've not used bug sprays, sunscreens. So
No. How
he
good, though. Like,
pedals
so
around in
pure.
the tub. We put like 2 inches in there and he lays there and he splashes around and I take a cup and I put it on his head. I've used...
When you do use something,
Yeah,
what
when I
is
do
it?
use something, probably just straight coconut oil after the fact. If I'm using anything, he's not had any lotions. But it makes me... So when I had Bella, I got all these baskets of stuff. And even when I had Jace, I did this big, huge baby registry. We called it I had a second shower because they were 9 years apart.
Right.
And I had this wonderful shower. My mother-in-law threw it for me and with help from my mom and Kim. And all the stuff I got was very minimal compared to even what I got with Bella.
Yeah.
And what I found I even used for the next one, it was even more minimal.
Even less, yeah.
He just
They
wears
just don't need
clothes
much.
and diapers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do use diaper rash cream.
Oh, really? I was
yep,
actually going to
I
ask
do.
that if you use
If
something.
needed, very rarely I need
Other
it.
than-
He doesn't.
Because you could just do coconut oil, right?
Coconut oil, breast milk is my go-to. And then if we feel like we need a little more, we're on the go or whatever. But I don't. I don't do regular baths, and that is why I can't give fantastic information about
Well, as far as props goes,
and what is needed.
And everybody is going to be different. So if you're just starting on like how I was a year ago and how I'm just still changing my thinking basically and realizing, oh, all of these VOCs were terrible for my newborn. Like to realize that now makes me think, okay, what are they using for hand soap? You know, what are we doing in our environment that's affecting their immune system or their endocrine system?
I hear often, this is great, but it's so expensive. Yeah. If you are going from the 68 cents bottle of Johnson's to a $10.99 bottle, half the size of all organic soap, it is. I will pay for it because that is one thing we've chosen as our lifestyle, that we know that we need it. But more than that, I prefer just to use nothing. That's free.
That's free. Just like nursing, just like breastfeeding.
It is.
Do that.
Well, except for what I spent on pump supplies and fun little shirts and everything. My last baby, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not free anymore.
It's
my
more
husband was like,
expensive
I
than
thought we were
formula.
saving money.
Not when you get all the right shirts.
But it
really,
can be.
It's different for everybody. So at some point, if you just need to go from Tide or from Dreft to something better, just start somewhere, do something, and just become more not health conscious. That's not the right term, but just become more aware of
your options and aware of your surroundings.
What are you doing?
We are at a point, we have been for a few years in our country, burying your head in the sand is no longer an option. Back when I was little, using the term McDonald's is bad for me was legit.
Yeah.
People didn't realize that.
Right.
I didn't know that this Mountain Dew was killing me. I hope my dad is listening today. Did you see him?
I don't know.
You can't, even he'll say, yep, I know it's bad. You can't use the term of I didn't know it was bad for me anymore.
Well, no. I mean, because of the internet. And just do your research and pay attention to what's out there.
I don't know how we got from teething to VOCs.
Right.
But the goal of today's show is really just an open conversation about you have to start somewhere.
Right.
And
just be aware of what you're putting, what you're not exposing, but what your child is going to be able to react to or be breathing in, and it kind of goes along with the giant topic of toxins.
Exactly. And man, that's 80 shows right there.
Right.
But I can't control when the farmer 3 miles down the road sprays their crops. I cannot control when we walk through an airport and a bunch of people have chemical fragrances on.
Right.
I cannot control, we travel and we lay in a hotel bed that was, they use bleach on the sheets,
right.
which frankly, good, because I don't know what's in that bed. No, but
you can't control all of those things.
Walking into a public restroom and it's full of Lysol.
Yeah, or air fresheners and.
So I can't control the chemtrails, the flyover spraying chemicals, but I can control what goes on my newborn skin, what goes in their system, what I'm using in my house for fragrances. I can control that. They make paint with no VOC.
With no VOCs.
Home and Lindsay is a brand. I don't know if it's only just local to Wisconsin.
I don't think it is. I think it's a big.
They use no VOCs in all their paints. Sherwin-Williams has a brand of no VOCs.
Oh.
Our hardware store carries one brand, has no VOCs. They're out there. I would have never thought to ask. And it's only a couple bucks more a gallon.
But think about like the long term. Like think of the long game.
And that was my goal for the show is there are options. I'm not sitting over here going, we don't paint our house. Or we live in a bubble and we don't bathe or shave or
well, you don't bathe your child. But
I can't believe I admitted that. He gets water baths. And
that's enough though.
One thing that I have loved, I haven't checked the ingredients. I'm still living off a bottle from 2 years ago. Oyen handmade. They make a honey wash. It literally has honey in it and a couple other things. It's fantastic. So I do use that on him. It's super sweet.
Do you get it? Because it's honey?
Oh, be serious.
I have so many. We have had this honeybee pun conversation before, and it went on for like hours. Did it not? It went on like via text for hours, and it was awesome. So we've totally gone over our 10 to 15 minute show. So I think
I always worry I'm not gonna have enough content.
I think we managed to find enough.
There are other options out there. It's not an all or nothing.
No.
It is not a you can't use laundry soap or you're gonna use Dreft. There is multiple options.
Yeah. There's a happy medium on that whole scale of
and it goes with what we've been promoting all year. Just start somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Start somewhere.
The laundry soap at Costco, the natural laundry soap, I think is maybe $2 more than the other one.
Not bad.
So
there's stuff out there. There's options. But really
out
start
there that
somewhere.
are not
start paying attention.
Extreme craziness.
Do we have a plan for next week?
We do.
What is it?
Knowing your rights in the hospital.
Ooh, yes.
Birth plan. I'm going to share my birth plan.
That's going to be a big show.
Yeah, and which is going to lead into the one after that, which is to doula or don't.
To doula or don't.
To doula or don't.
That's cute.
Like that. So we're going to have a doula on the show.
That's awesome.
Nancy has no idea yet. So
no, that'll be great.
That's what I was thinking, and now that we announced it, let's just
now
do it.
Now we're going to have to stick to it because that's the plan.
But next week, one that's been on my heart for a while, it's again another little touchy subject. It's going to vary state by state. But knowing what I can and cannot say yes or no to, which is a lot more than you would think you can do. Because I was the classic one, I wanted a hospital birth. And what can I say no? What can I not say no to? And who's in my corner knowing when the doctor says you have to do this? No, I don't.
You need to know your rights. So all right.
And still finding a common ground with them. I had wonderful hospital births without feeling like I was this crazy person in the hospital saying no.
Right. You weren't in fear of them forcing you to do something or whatever because you knew what you were allowed to do.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So we will touch on that subject next week.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for watching.